When I reflect on these past 2 years in the Urban School Leaders Collaborative, the me 2 years ago compared to the me today are two very different people, in a good way. 2 years ago, I would never have pictured myself as a leader. 2 years ago, I would never have the courage to use my voice and stand up for my students. 2 years ago, I was not the teacher and educator I needed to be for my students and their family. Now that I look back and take the time to reflect, I can only describe my experience as a journey of growth. It's almost as if I was still in the process of germination. I was still a seed growing in its roots in the soil, while being watered and fed. The USLC has helped break me out of the soil and begin to bud and grow towards the light in the hopes of blooming. I have always had a voice, but the USLC gave me a megaphone and gave me the push to fight for my beliefs and what is best for all students. It's opened my eyes to my own faults and biases, and it's challenged me to engage in deep dialogue and conversations I may not have felt comfortable having before. When I think of the instrumental pieces of literature from the past 2 years that have really developed me, it's been the work of Jeff Duncan Andrade, Paulo Freire, Miles Horton, and Angela Valenzuela. And when I think about the ways I have transformed as a person, it has been threefold: developing a pedagogy of authentic caring and critical consciousness, developing a belief in self, and developing my praxis. Reflection is a critical component in developing my pedagogy of authentic caring. The intentional cohort model of the USLC really allows for authentic conversations to take place and for us to feel safe and valued in the classroom space. Not to mention, authentic conversations and care is shown and modeled to us from the very beginning by our professors. They make it a point to get to know us and accommodate for us in our needs. Because of these established relationships, there's a level of comfort that allows for everyone to be vulnerable and willing to engage in dialogue with one another. While authentic caring is necessary, it's also not enough. Students' cultural world and their structural position must also be fully apprehended. Therefore, having a pedagogy centered around authentic caring plus development of a critical consciousness allows for us to humanize the learning experience and ensure that our students' stories and identities are not erased nor neglected. Because this concept is modeled to us in the USLC, it's made it easier for me to bring this pedagogy into my classroom. I've seen my relationships with my students grow, which in turn has created a classroom environment where students are self-driven, confident in their abilities, and find joy in learning. We cannot be there for our students if we are not there for ourselves. We cannot expect our students to develop a critical consciousness if we ourselves do not model it. We cannot expect our students to develop an identity if we ourselves do not know who we are. My development in self has probably been the most important part of this 2-year program for me. Developing my self-identity was not easy, and it's still a continuous process. I noticed at the start of the USLC, I didn't ever picture myself taking a leadership role like a principal. Throughout the program, I began to see myself more and more as a social justice leader. I gained the confidence and I gained the ganas to fight and see myself as a leader. I think the process of writing my autoethnography and creating a list of non-negotiables was significant in allowing me to solidify my identity, my journey, my beliefs, and what I'm not willing to compromise for anyone or anything. Reflection plus action equals praxis. I've always been a self-reflective and introspective individual, but that was put to the test when I entered the USLC. The professors give us challenging tasks to put our reflections to the test. It's not enough to sit and hope for things to change. There needs to be action. Our professors helped us do just that. We had many assignments and projects where we were to analyze and identify an issue at our campus and tackle it head-on with a plan of action. This has allowed me to really step up and act at my campus. I've created more spaces and opportunities for our parents to engage with our school by holding pláticas. I've been more vocal and have advocated for not only my students, but also the teachers at my campus, and I've continued to organize alongside community members who want to take action as well. Jeff Duncan Andrade uses the metaphor of roses in the concrete to show the strength and resilience of his community and their ability to rise and bloom despite the circumstances. The bougainvillea is my version of this rose. When I see this flower, I think of the growth, the healing, the journey, and the generations before me that have led me to where I am now. I owe my transformation these past 2 years to my professors and cohort who pushed me and challenged me. But through the whole process, I carried with me the memory of my ancestors before me. As a social justice leader, we're taught that learning and growth are continuous in our journey. We've heard in our cohort over and over the difficulty of remaining a social justice leader, which is why this work cannot be done alone. I hope to continue to till the soil and create more opportunities for our next generation and future leaders, whether they be my own students or my own children. This work to me is a lifelong commitment to education, but the roads that led me here and continue to lead me are worth the journey.